Hey, Brent's here. We start this out how we used to. Hello, fantasy football family, and welcome to Connor's. Can you even see my mouse? Fantasy football. There we go. Video. Let me turn the music down a little bit. Okay, so. Hello, friends. Hello, family. So, as we can see, okay, Nintendo, I love your music, but I don't need spooky stuff. So, you know what? I'll let Brent figure this out. Brent, what Nintendo soundtrack do you want to listen to, or any other game soundtrack? You know, something good. This is a nice song, though. Earthbound? Alright. Is that good? Okay. I don't know if that's good or not. So we're going to start off with the Week 3 2018, I guess, well, Brent's power rankings, as we can put it. Tyler, undefeated. So obviously, he is number one. There's some debate with that, even though Tyler in chat said earlier that my team's super scary. Tyler's earned his wins. We'll go into that a little bit later. Earthbound. Let's turn you down. So I'm second place, which is nice to see. Always. My team is very scary. Lookout Andrew is a good word for that, but at the same time, I'm concerned that I'll lose again, and then that's just another year of crap. Brent, I feel. Ryan, very close to victory. I will say his team's very solid. Our division is pretty solid this year. Andrew Adair, I think he just got an unlucky week. I mean, he went up against the football by committee, and that team just decided to go off. A very interesting game by his. David got very close. Juju Smister, Juju, the man who did a Naruto victory dance at the end zone. So I guess you can say that David lost to a weeb. That's very interesting, I'd like to think. But he got very good. I think his team has a lot of potential. He just, you know, I mean, if you lose with the quarterback making 45 points, some weeks are just not your weeks. Football combined committee, first victory, which is great. Adds a little bit more chaos to the league. In Kelvin's team, I can't really say much. Has a lot of key players, which I'll go over, but this team just isn't developing, I guess, the way that he thought it would. The power rankings are back, which is always cool. This is about a week ago, which is always nice that Ryan does this. I love this. Surprisingly, week 2, which we just finished, I had 100, which is amazing. I guess I didn't expect that. David with an upset of 94, very good. Football by committee is always kind of awkward to me see down here because it is run by, you know, Brendan Andrew. Those are probably the two best players in our league, arguably, with the most championships under their belt, and then Miles, which your team drafted. And it's just surprising to me that you guys are on the bottom but have the most victories. I just found that very odd, in my opinion. And somehow I have the best. So, you know, even this kind of gives hope to people that even though maybe you don't have the best, you know, power, commish ranking, you can still win. You know, if your team's just that much of a baller, like we saw last year and the year before. So standings, we'll look at that really quick. Papa Andrew and the Red Bowls are still number 1, tied with Brent. Saquon and Dunn, obviously number 1 due to the fact it's undefeated, with me close behind. Jacksonville Jag Actors are tied with Football by committee. I don't that's going to be an interesting matchup where I think the football by committee team has a chance to pull off those upsets, but I think overall Ryan is just his team's just more coherent, but that's yet to be seen. Time will only tell. We look at the scoreboard for week 3. All right, we'll go. I think least interesting to most interesting. My game I think was the least interesting. I don't like this full box score. Quick box score is always cool to me. I mean, just monster performances from Deshaun Watson, who really was failing in the beginning. Todd Gurley, a stud, like Brent always says. I'm glad that he's back on the team. He's performing like he did before. Christian McCaffrey, I mean, that is terrifying how good that was. Only because he was not very prominent in the passing game. Like 2 catches, I think, but had some just monster games. Monster gains on the field. I remember watching him run, which was totally awesome. Jarvis Landry, I think if I do win the work league, might grab me a Jarvis Landry a jersey as well, just because I'm on both my teams. Lamar Miller concerns me as an owner. If he doesn't pick up, he might get replaced or might get less snaps. But that touchdown in the end saved him. Keenan Allen, I don't know what happened in this game. I mean, from my understanding, it was a shootout. I just know the Rams' defense is solid, so they're not going to let Allen stay open. Kyle Rudolph, I sat next to a Buffalo Bills fan, and I watched that game, and boy, was that crazy. Kyle Rudolph was a saving grace to get the only touchdown on that team. Ridiculous. I don't know if the Bills can keep that up or it's just a one-trick wonder, but bless the boys in blue, I guess. Jordan Howard, 20.9 points. I'm trying to get him out of the league, but consistently good. I think Chicago's defense is very well, so he's on the field a lot, probably running down the clock. Jaguars defense, 10 points, nothing crazy. Tennessee was just a pathetic game by both parts, 6-9. See, 22 to 23, 35, crazy. And then Graham Gano with 8 points, always solid. Cam Newton had a monster game. I mean, just amazing to watch that man play. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, I think. David Johnson doing better than, consistently on the uptrend. I had that bad game against, that's the Rams. What are you going to do? A 0-34 loss. Chicago, same thing. But they don't utilize him as much, which is kind of crazy. So I think if they start, the new quarterback's supposed to start, and if they kick out the old offensive coordinator, put someone in who understands how good he is, he could be back to his, Miles dominating self. Stephon Diggs, that game was just anything with Buffalo in it. The Vikings just did pathetic. It was crazy. Marshawn Lynch, 21.4 points, was really good. Miami still undefeated, surprisingly, but the Raiders put up a good show. Deshaun Jackson, 6.7. Usually surprising because he has been Fitzpatrick's man. Deep ball, 36-29. Just this week, just did not happen. Pittsburgh does have a good defense. You can say that. They did technically almost lose to the Browns. Julio Jones, only 14.6 points. That number's, I think, way lower than it should have been, only because Calvin Ridley had a phenomenal game. Put on my bench, my other league. I guess that wasn't a good idea. Jared Cook. All tight ends right now have just been very, very inconsistent and just not good, besides the top maybe like 5. So I think 8.1 is good points. Adrian Peterson, showing that old age does not matter to this man. 29.8 points. That is monstrous. He beat Christian McCaffrey. And, but hell, Washington is rolling down the field. Chargers defense just got into a shootout. Negative 2 points makes sense. Jake Elliott, 7 points consistent. And then I think we should go on to Saquon and Dunn. We'll save that one for a second. I thought that one was really good. My fault. It's football by committee and Andrews. I went to full box score again. Quick box score. Andrews' team. Let's start with that. Kirk Cousins had a pathetic showing. A very uncharacteristic. I mean, look at this stat line right here. 45.9 points against Green Bay. You would think he's going to make 1,000,000 points against Buffalo, but Buffalo just had that man's number. I think he had like 2 fumbles, strip sack. It was just not a good game for him. 12.6 points. Ezekiel Elliott showing that he's still a dominant runner, 20 points. Seattle has an all right defense. Dallas overall is just trying to get the ball down the field. Just wasn't a very pretty game. Amari Cooper 3.7. I don't know. I don't know if that's consistently him. I don't know Amari very well, but you know, hopefully this number stays consistent for Andrew, unless he plays me. But I don't know. A little worried. Latavius Murray. I mean, once again, Minnesota just did not have a good game. Michael Thomas, really good game. I mean, powerful showing. I mean, 38, 30, 22.9. Andrew has a solid player right there. Travis Kelce, I mean, besides the first week, these two games have been really good. So hopefully that continues for him. Kenny Galladay, pretty good, 17.3 points. Look at that stat line, really good. Vikings defense surprisingly has 8 points. And Robbie Gould, I guess, 6. Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes had a phenomenal game as always. Alvin Kamara, just a dominant running back. Kareem Hunt, dominant. Adam Thielen. I mean, I guess there was garbage time for Kirk. I think he's the only one on the entire Vikings team that had any points thrown to his name. I mean, look at this. Rushing yards, 2 carries, 11 yards. And then Adam Thielen with 1,405. I mean, I think he's the only one who showed up to play that game. Deion Lewis, 8.8, going up to Jacksonville, just to put that a game. Odell Beckham, 20.1. He's Odell. What do you expect? Kenyon Drake, 4. Surprisingly, I mean, he was all right the first 2 weeks. Just Oakland, I guess, very strong rushing defense. Texans, 8 points. Very low scoring game against. The Texans, I'm confused. New York Giants, 27-22. Surprisingly, it's not a little bit higher. Texans defense usually, gets a lot of sacks, but I guess this week, just didn't happen. But kept it consistent with 8 points, which is really good. And Matt Bryant was only 3. You'd expect him to have more, but I guess not. So, lost to Andrew, which, I mean, just surprising. I mean, I thought his team was going to do well this week, but football committee just decided to say, fuck communism. Second most interesting game, this one. This came down to the wire. Juju Smith-Schuster, bless that man for Tyler. 27.7 points for Aaron Rodgers. Still very good. What do you expect? Saquon Barkley, 26.1. Getting more and more comfortable in the role. Just a dominant runner. Juju Smith-Schuster right here. This man right here. Look at this. I mean, Ty, I thought for a second that drafting him early was not the greatest idea, but proving everyone wrong right here. Brandon Cook, 16 points. Tevin Coleman. I mean, hopefully that stays consistent. I know Miles has Devontae Freeman, who's out. So how that dynamic will change when he comes back week to week, I think he is, will be interesting to see. DeAndre Hopkins, 14.6 points. Took a minute to get going because Deshaun Watson, it's just, he's just trying to figure itself out, I guess. He's not like his prolific quarterback. What sucks is because I go up against, in my other league, I have Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins. So it's going to be very awkward to say, like, oh, I really need to win this week, so I need DeAndre Hopkins to do good, but then play Tyler, knowing that that's a double-edged sword. But hopefully my team has enough firepower to slug that off. David Njoku with Baker Mayfield, that's going to be very interesting to see since he's coming back. James White, once again, very good score, 14.9. I didn't want to click on that one. Surprisingly lost to the Patriots, but hey, he's been consistently double digits, which is really nice for Tyler. Panthers defense, always got to support the boys. And Will Lutz, New Orleans kicker with 15. That's what I expected to see from the Falcons kicker, but damn, that's just the kicker outscored James White in the flex position, a wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. That's a wide receiver like 2, 3. Just not even like he's a wide receiver 1, but maybe second or arguably the best wide receiver behind Odell Beckham. His kicker got more points. I mean, I understand, David got, Drew Brees 45.3 points, but man, when your kicker's making 15, that's another argument for a victory right there. But David's team, surprising. Nonetheless, Drew Brees 45.3 points. I mean, that is just That's 2 players right there. It's insane. He went off. Melvin Gordon, consistently really good for David. Alex Collins, 20 points, very good. Michael Crabtree, 13.1. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens when Baltimore bye week hits. I mean, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens to David. Pierre Garçon, 2.1. I mean, he's consistently had lower numbers, I believe. So, I don't know. Maybe there's an upside to this eventually. All right, Jimmy G's out. So, maybe the backup quarterback likes him more, I guess. What you can hope for. A.J. Green, Panthers kept him to a low score. Usually does pretty well. I was surprised how low of a score he got. Usually I would have expected at least maybe 5 to 10 more points from A.J. Green. Maybe that could have pushed David over the win, but would have actually barely beaten Ty. We got 10 more points from him, which is fine. I mean, it's just those weeks. Rob Gronkowski, 9.1 points. This is a bad showing for New England, which kind of sucked. Ty Montgomery, very good pick, 15.7, and Rams defense, 16. I would like to point out, let me go back to scoreboard. Full box score. Where is your bench, Tyler? Trying to find the bench. Is the bench just not there, or I have to go to like individual teams? Scoring breakdown, maybe? Nope, I don't know. I just know that Tyler had notable. Thank you, ESPN. A trade alert. Let me look up really quick on this. Football by Committee had Ben Roethlisberger with 33.7 points on his bench. Andrew with Matt Ryan. That has to suck. I think he would have won by a little bit if he started Matt Ryan, but I mean, Scott the Woz video. Jimmy G for Kelvin had 24.9 points. I only had Javoris Allen with 18.8, but that's okay. What's his name? Jordy Nelson with 29.3 points on his bench. That is crazy, and I know how that feels. For the next game, probably the most interesting here, the Jacksonville Jaguars versus Charlotte Cranes. Brent had Isaiah Crowell with 22.3 points on his bench, Robert Woods with 34.3, and Melvin Jones Jr. with 16.9, and Phillip Rivers with 21. So, and Will Fuller with 22.1. I believe Brent may have gotten more points on his bench than in actual scoring play. That's terrifying because I think that really shows how well-rounded Brent's team is. It may be just this week that I'm looking at it because I didn't look at the other weeks. All my moves this week were whack. It's okay. It shows that if you need to have replacements, a bye week's not going to hurt you. And that's a bonus for your team. I'll go over my bonuses for every team, what I like and dislike about them. Jacksonville Jaguars versus Tom Brady, 8.4 points. That's got to just sting. I think that's just, that is not what I expect from Tom Brady. Carlos Hyde, 28.9 points. Really good. Tyreek Hill, the bane of my existence week 1, 8.5 points. I dropped Matt Prater to pick up Philip Lindsay, and I picked up Dan Bailey. Bailey scored 0. Lindsay got ejected in the second quarter, and Matt Prater nailed like 4 field goals. I should have taken an L this week. But the football gods, Brent, blessed you. I think, Ryan's team, I think I'm going to look at I don't know how to look at the scoring projections, but Ryan, I think, still has a consistent team. Just a little worried. Chris Thompson didn't do very well. Tyreek Hill. I hope that's not an inconsistent in him. I hope that's just uncharacteristic, I think. I don't think you're going to get a 57.2 point game again, but damn, man, that does not, I think Ryan's team just did not show up this week. He still had pretty good Mike Evans, George Kittle, Golden Tate, all very good. Brent, Andrew Luck, Tyler Lockett, 32. I'll be right back, though. I have to go do something. Had some technical difficulties. I'm back. Zach Ertz, Philadelphia, 12.3 points. James Conner, 17.5. Gotta love the man. He's on my team. Bears defense, 17 points. Very good. The Eagles defense, 6 on characters. I think Ryan's team just hit his slump this week. Wasn't his best game. As Brent points out, they should have taken an L, but that's all right. You take the victories where you can get it, I guess. And then I guess we're going to look at week 4. I go up against Saquon. He's going to pick up a defense, of course. It's going to be a tough matchup. I'm without McCaffrey, who's been a major force for my team. Sean Watson's still there. Todd Gurley's still there. Landry, Miller, Allen. 2 Allens, because I had to replace McCaffrey. Rudolph, Jordan Howard, Jaguars defense. I got to replace my kicker. This is a top-up. This is a toss-up. I don't know. There's the show bench. I don't think Ty set up his bench or his team yet. I don't know what their points are projected, but I think this is either going to go 2 ways. Either this is going to be a very close game, or I think that Tyler has a good chance to run away with it. I don't think I have a good chance to run away with it. I think either Tyler's team is really gonna. I like Juju Smith-Schuster, I like Saquon Barkley, Aaron Rodgers against Buffalo. If that's a fluke or not, that's gonna be a good game. David Njoku with Baker Mayfield's gonna be interesting. Tevin Coleman against Cincinnati. I mean, if McCaffrey could run over them like we did, I don't know no reason why Tevin Coleman can't. James White, New England against Miami. That's always going to be a good game because it's a rivalry. I think it is a very strong overall. Brandon Cooks, but he also has, Jamal Williams might be interesting. Mitch Trubisky. They're usually in a shootout, so that'll be interesting to see. But for me, pretty much think this is pretty good setup. I might think, this is going to be really close. Or I think Ty might be able to stay undefeated for one more week. I didn't go over my fault. And then, Gurley, Landry, like I said, they're all going to do well. So I think this is going to be a tested game. I want to say I'm going to win, but I think Ty is still going to be undefeated because, he's Saquon and done. Does he need anybody else? I'm going to give this one to Andrew. I hope, Kelvin, communism's always been weak to people being hungry, and maybe Kellogg can feed the masses and destroy communism, but Cam Newton's on bye. That's a huge loss. Kirk Cousins, he has 2 other quarterbacks, Matt Ryan and Alex Smith. But LaShawn McCoy's day-to-day, though, so Matt Ryan will be interesting. Latavius Murray might be an interesting pick. Rashad Penny had a pretty good showing, I believe. Oh, nope, I lied. Dropped this man. I need 2 in my little league. Kelvin really just got hurt. Joe Mixon's out, which really sucks. And he lost Jimmy G. So Kelvin needs another quarterback. Devin Funchess on bye. I'm thinking we'll give this one to Andrew, but if Kelvin wins, I'll buy some Kellogg's and eat it. Whatever cereal I want, I guess. He was the Seahawk that did really well. You're thinking Chris Carson. I am thinking Chris Carson. I don't know. Brent, I love your team. I say it's very well rounded. Leonard Fournette comes back. That's going to be a huge bonus. Royce Freeman has looked pretty good, consistent. Andrew Luck against Houston might be an interesting throw up because Houston has just not done very well in the beginning quarters. Usually they're playing with garbage time and the teams do well. Will Fuller, now that he's back, look at that stat line. That's really good. Isaiah Crowell performed really well. Detroit, he had a low in Miami, but Miami's 3-0, so that might be why. And looking really good. David's team, I like AJ Green, Pierre Garçon, and maybe recommend switching him out, David. But you got options here. Trey Burton for Chicago's tight end has done all right. You got Gronkowski, though, so you think you're pretty solid. But I don't know. I think Brent's gonna win this one just because of the consistency in his team. And then there's Jacksonville. Oh, nope. I need week 4. Thank you. And then football by committee in Jacksonville. This is important because this would set the bottom player of the league for our division. And I know there's a 10-point reduction on the football by committee's team. But, I mean, it just seems that, football committee is a powerful team. I think it's like not a sleeper, but it will show up when it shows up. Kareem Hunt is on the same caliber as Tyreek Hill, Alvin Kamara, Carlos Hyde, Adam Thielen, Tariq Cohen, Odell Beckham Jr. is, Mike Evans. So if Fitzmagic continues, this is really good. I know that Mike Evans doesn't have the best rapport with, I think, Jackson. I'm blanking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers guy's name. And this game has big ol' implications. I love this game with big ol' implications. Yeah, because this would set the league at the bottom, and then that shows was Jacksonville Jaguars a one-win wonder, and he's going to go through some rough times trying to figure his team out, or can he topple the football by committee and make sure that Miles stays former Serenity's team stays at the bottom. So I like this matchup. I think this is very important. Now, yes, I think my game is important against Ty, because if I knock him down, he's now has a loss and we're tied, and I think I would take over the #1 power ranking in the league. But his team has shown to perform really well, and I lost McCaffrey, and that's hard. When I lose Gurley, it's like that. It's like I have to make up. I might have a player that can replace him, but I don't think that player's going to get the 30 points McCaffrey did. Where I don't think, there's a preview. I don't think, he lost anybody that big. I don't think. No, he doesn't have anyone on bye, I don't think, besides the Panthers defense, which is a loss, but there's a lot of defenses you can pick up. So I think in order for me to beat Ty, I think my team needs to be firing on all cylinders, and I lost one very important cylinder there. But other than that, I think that's going to be it. Brent, do you have anything? The last team to go 1-2 was Ryan last year, and he made it to the championship, so who really knows what Ryan will do. True. His team is, no team knows. But I just hope that Tyreek Hill does not do this again. This would be really nice that this doesn't happen again. This is not against me. But, my only other option is he has Greg Olsen out. Jay Jai is questionable. Rex Burkhead's questionable. Matt Breida's questionable. Le'Veon Bell. I think Ryan has been screwed over this year. I think the most. So I'm going to give him that. I think Ryan gets my seal of shit happens, bro, award, because I know what that's like. So hopefully Lev Bell will get signed with someone else and will do really well for him. Greg Olsen, should have had an interesting year. Maybe follow up on last year and do a lot better, but is out. Jay Jai got hurt. So he's day-to-day, I think. So, Ryan has been rocked. Do you think he'll bounce back from 1-2 start? If Lev Bell gets placed on a good enough team, and Jay Jai comes back and he stays healthy, and I think he'll be all right, yeah. Because the other team that started 1-2 last year was Miles, and yeah, but I think Ryan is more active on the waiver wire, and he'll do what he needs to do to rectify situations. But other than that, I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else you'd want me to talk about, Brent. You have the floor. You're the only one here. Any wide receiver you recommend trading for? Is this David? I guess. mean, it depends on which team you are, and I think you might be David, but David is usually something else. But I'll wait for a response. I think I'm just gonna end it here then.